To sum up, Carnival is really to take on a hurricane and explain it in some kind of way. Carnival cannot really be summarized, but it is crucially important in its ability to let people free up politically, culturally, socially, personally. It means a great deal more than even the people who practice it often realize that it means, because what it touches is kind of the mythic and social history, the incorporation of ancestral pasts into the present, the incorporation of the place we came from, which is often a homeland far away, into the home we live in, and a looking toward the future of establishing identity outside the world of work, which is crucial to human life from birth to death. Carnival is an important thing for universities to incorporate into its curriculum, but for me to explain what I mean by that, I would have to first say what I think the university is. And I think the university is not a place apart from the real world. I think this old mythology that you're here to play and study and then you're going to go out into the real world is just that, a mythology. I tell my students very often that if they process their learning only in their heads, they haven't learned at all. That learning is not about ideas. It's about incorporating life experience into the process of education and learning. You have to walk with your learning. You have to take it into life, and if you don't do that, you're not equipped for life. And we have failed. We have not done our job. And so I would have almost all learning have about it a component of experience. I would not limit it to ideas. That's one of the reasons I made my way to Trinidad, where I have a chance to direct my own program, which can be as experiential as I like. So I think that it's a very good way to bridge a lot of gaps and close a lot of dichotomies. Carnival is in itself internally contradictory. It lives on paradox. And life is contradictory and in its own way lives on paradox. You have to understand what is and what is not, that they exist simultaneously, and that our role as teachers is to try to help students occupy that in-between space, looking both directions and really comprehending and coming to terms with learning as the key to life. What would be the key research interests for intellectuals to engage with in relationship to Carnival? There are many of them. And so I think it takes a lot of different kinds of researchers. Partly it's archival, partly it is to trace the history, to get it in front of you, not to recreate it, but to understand it, and so to move forward with it as a tool. It's partly field experience, to really talk to people, so it's partly interviews. It's also partly participatory experience, so that you really learn the move. You learn what it means to be in the process itself. It's a very hard subject to realize if you don't do that. When students come to Trinidad, I work with Tony Hall there, and we often say to them, Trinidad and Tobago is your university. To be at the university is part of being in Trinidad and Tobago. So you need to walk from the classroom out of the classroom. So you need books, and you need archives, and you need documents, and you need history. But then you also must take with you questions about how this festival, like all of life, is ever evolving, and to study that process of evolution in a practical way.